This is essentially going to be a floating dog head. Hand coming in like this for nice and easy performance. Foam body, lightweight for on-set shooting. I mean, there's variations, but these are the sketches that I did. All right. Getting better and better at this. It's a lot of work, for sure. Okay. Here we go. Some more foam. Cool. My Persona blades have still not shown up. So sadly, I haven't been able to see exactly why they're such a wonderful tool for this. Okay, that's about as far back as I want to go. Nice. Love how malleable this dude is. So I'm going to carve out this mouth. I'm basically going to install the mouth plate, which I can then... I'm going to need a lot of room in there to get that dog mouth in there. Okay, so in classic novice fashion, while carving with the Persona blades, these things are sharp. Get your little hands on there, your little fingers on there, trying to carve away. Yeah, I cut myself. Of course I did. Classic moment. I mean, it's cool though. It's coming along. Oh, that's pretty much how I feel right there. Haven't done a BTS behind the scenes in a while since cutting my finger up. And right now I've got a to-do list, which is design the mouth mech, but I need to figure out where the foam ends and the silicone insert starts, and then how to rig it up, I think, I'm going to try to use recycled yoga mat, 3 layers glued together for the bottom and top so that it has some flex and mushiness. So I think I need to like carve out this more. I've took the back off the puppet so that I can hollow them out. Love these new gloves. I definitely recommend some gloves, leather gloves, while working with the Persona blades. I think what I'm going to do is not glue this back together later, but instead add Velcro to either side. Put hair on this side, put hair on this side, comb it over. And so later when performing, if I'm having some difficulty getting the expression I want, I can pop this off. Depending on the angle, I can get some two-handed puppetry going. Nothing's rigged up right now, so I can't really do it. So I've finished sculpting the inside of the mouth. I've got all my teeth prepped and ready to glue in once I've casted this in silicone. This will be my mouth plate. This is some glued, recycled yoga mats. So now I need to measure the depth of the mouth plate, where I want these gums to rest above the mouth line. It's 1 centimeter. Then I want the gums to pop out above this mouth line. I'd say about 1/2 centimeter. Wow, that's deep. That's a lot of foam to cut out. There's room to do it though. There's definitely room to do it. So I did a glue test because I was debating whether to sew the fur around the dog head or just straight glue it directly to the fur. Crafter's pick, keep plugging it. And I let it set overnight with some wood blocks, compressing it. I'm pulling pretty hard. I think I ripped the foam before it peel off, which is incredible. Did a really good job. I'm gonna mold my tongue and my mouth, my dog mouth. Let that dry, come back to it. It's time to mix up some plaster. Then you're supposed to gently coat it to 1/8 of an inch. Push through. No matter how messy this gets, keep going. Jeez Louise. All right. It is time to try to release this mold, flip it over, and clean it out. I'm terrified. Ooh, luckily so far, it's still kind of wet. That's not good. It's been like 2 days. It's too delicate. It's supposed to be hard plaster. It's too wet still. All right, all being said, I'm gonna wait for these to dry.
There's no way to avoid falling if you ride a skateboard. But if you know how to fall and are wearing the proper safety gear, you can fall on asphalt and concrete and not get hurt.
Hell yeah, check that shit out. Oh, really? It's just so you can see the you can see my original sculpture. Fuck yeah, dude. Are you kidding? Hyped. Turned out well, I'm so thrilled. Okay, I'm about to pour silicone, but in prep, I need to seal the mold. This is some microwaved Vaseline for about 3 minutes. It didn't really get to liquid form except for at the base. I think microwaving Vaseline in a plastic container is like the perfect symbol for late stage capitalism. Just like, what am I doing? Why? What is existence? I mean, obviously I want the mold to release, so. And I don't want too much Vaseline gunking up my details. Yeah, I think I'm gonna put it in the microwave a little bit longer, try to get it to liquid. Okay. Took about another 4 minutes after that initial 2 minutes to get it down to liquid state. Kind of terrifying watching it melt. I'm assuming the silicone might spill over a little bit. Okay, let's do some fine work now. Feels like it's pretty well coated. It's very satisfying. I think we can go directly into pouring the silicone. Okay, I'm out in my shed, as this requires ventilation. I'm not going to need a ton of silicone for this. A little muscle gun to vibrate the table to maybe release some bubbles from the silicone. I know it's a 1-to-1 mix. So washing with water and soap immediately after. What's up, Joe? Oh, wait! Oh, wait! Oh, wait! She wants to go on a walk so bad, and I just need to pour this. I'm gonna go put her inside. Come on, Shelly! Well, this is the end result. Mixed the two parts together, rigorously mixed, used all my safety equipment. In 4 to 5 hours, we'll yank this puppy out. So this has been drying overnight with a heater. The tackiness is not what I expected. So, but I have no choice to kind of experiment and take it out. There we go. It's coming right out. That's nice. That's pretty good. Oh man, what a delight. You know, it's like you have to wait so long for this. This took a while. Yeah, 2 weeks for the, like, it was like half a day to a day to sculpt. 2 weeks for this to dry. Half a day yesterday to prep and pour the silicone. And then just out of cautiousness, it took a whole overnight for this to dry. It feels fine now. Nice and stretchy. That's exciting. Great. That's it. Now I've got my space heater to warm it up at 4 hours. And I'll be able to pull this out. Coming out like butter. Love it. Ooh. There's the mouth. It's very heavy. It's really going to add some weight to the puppet. Let's see here. Jelly, jelly. Wow, it's really going to add some weight to it for sure. Wow, yeah. Really feels like proto-robotics. You know, the early stages. They also say that, like, giving weight to your puppet gives it a gravity, but also being able to actually perform with it without exhausting yourself, which this is incredibly light so far. This weird and semi-horrific scene is the end result of my morning trying to apply a third coat of paint to the dog head to get it richer and darker. I think the darker I go and the more like cosmetic shadow I add to like the end of the ears or the eyes, the more despairing he'll look. It's a really windy day, so I have him popped out here, drying out. See how he's looking up close? Terrifying. Trying to make the color pop. I washed it, I made it super rich, then I washed it out, and now I gotta bring the color back again. A little burnt sienna, a little raw sienna, good amount of black. Some earthy green, some oxide green. Dash of blue. Should make a nice dark brown, chocolatey brown. Thin it out with some water. What a sad state of affairs. I mean, he's supposed to look, you know, exhausted, worn out, ragged. I think that's pretty spot on. There's the eyes installed. Got them pinned in there, glued in there. I cut little holes to kind of sink them in a bit, and then I'll use the fur and I'll style the fur to create emotion and to kind of immerse them within his body. So much emotion you can get just from shaping the fur. Love it. So the eyes are nice and glued in there. Currently, I've glued in the bottom mouth plate, pinned it. I placed the mouth inside, made sure it was fitting nicely. It's all good. This is gonna go up there. It's gonna be harder to make that mouth do its, I can feel it already. It's much more rigid. To do that little bendy motion that I love. I don't want just like a straight raw, 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 raw. Ooh, I like squishing them down. That's cool. I'm quickly cleaning off my silicone cast for the dog mouth. It's recommended you use 100% alcohol, but I also, to clean, and this is a platinum silicone, but I also heard the 70% that you can get at pharmacies is just fine. If you give it a good scrub, that it will open up the silicone so that it will take the paint. Started to paint my dog teeth and making them a little grotesque, a little dirty, a little worn. I mean, he is a dying dog head on a dystopian planet. So his teeth will reveal that fact. Just doing some quick tweaks. There's some hair around the eyes here that's too light, so I'm gonna go in and touch that up. These ears have been pinned down. I have not sewn or glued them down. I think I'm just gonna put a tiny bit of glue. I'm not gonna bother sewing them. This is possibly an entry point for rigging these ears later. So the glue will go just above there. An update, because I've been working away learning how to airbrush. This little Iwata Ninja Jet system, which during the process of learning how to mix naphtha to the Psycho paint, smooth on Psycho paint, the silicone, plus using the smooth on pigments and getting it proportionally so that it would spray through here was a little bit of a learning curve. What cracked it for me was that straight naphtha, straight white gas, really toxic. I'm all respirator and gloves and got a big box fan out there and a spray tent and very safe. After mastering cleaning it out, taking the nozzle off, taking the needle out, unclogging every little bit that I could with pipe cleaners, putting it back together, running straight naphtha through it, seeing it come out in a nice spray, also doing an acrylic test, discovered, yes, my airbrush worked. Then what I figured out is that I needed to add about 75% naphtha to silicone paint, probably, and then just jam that mixture with as much pigment until I saw a strong color in my spray. And I would suggest, the Stan Winston School, look for their painting courses. I'll share a link in the description and right here. The gums, I've finished painting. Gonna glue the teeth in there and then glue this into the dog mouth. I used Smooth On's matte Novax to kind of bring down the shine, although it still has a little bit of a gloss, which is nice because it just looks like wet gums. And here's my tongue, which I've had to paint a few times over to get a nice contrast between the dog head and the color of the tongue. So that first I painted it like white and pale because that's what happens to dogs when they get sick. The high red blood count, typically their tongues get white. But I painted this a few times. Yeah, jiggly, 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 jiggly. I am eager to start figuring out how to perform this guy. Even that's kind of fun. I mean, puppeting. It's a whole other skill set. All right, there's the mouth with the teeth installed. I used this glue, the same old glue I've been using throughout this whole process, Crafter's Pick. It says in the instructions, on non-permeable surfaces, such as the silicone, to apply the glue to both surfaces, let it dry, and then adhere them together. I wouldn't be surprised tomorrow if I'm able to pick up that mouth by one of the teeth and it doesn't pull out. We'll see. That'll be the test. Oh man, teeth are coming out. Teeth are coming out. Bummer. Multiple teeth are coming out. Sucks. I may have to try. Coming out. That Psycho paint Cavasel mixture. But while I'm here, I need the top of the mouth to close over top of the bottom. Like so. He's gonna need to be able to close his mouth. If anything, this is a great test to see how the teeth will hold up. Mouth doesn't really want to close easily. I need to carve out foam. That'll give me some leverage. Okay, so I just finished pinning in the silicone mouth. Probably did it from a really bad angle so you couldn't see. So anyways, I thought I'd show it off. Whoa, hello. Come on now. Let's frame it up. Let's frame it up. Let's see what we're doing here. All right, it's all pinned in there. I folded the fur over. It's going to adhere along the base very easily, and then I've got a little fold there where there was no glue, so I'm going to probably be able to readjust how it rests against the mouth. But I'm so psyched because the mouth closes and the teeth are overlapping perfectly. And soon I'll cut a hole in the back of the mouth and have this guy too. I can't believe it. I can't believe I'm at this stage now, finally. It's just been sitting and waiting, and I've been re-gluing those teeth, which I haven't documented, but I've re-glued and re-glued and re-glued and re-glued and broke the teeth and chipped the teeth, made the teeth smaller, pushed them in those holes, and they finally, with this epoxy, I think are all sealed up. So I'm putting the final touches on the dog head. The nose right now is this sort of, it's a silicone appliance I bought from Etsy, and through the process of fabricating, it's now pretty grungy, which is fine. This is kind of like a weathered old dog, but I feel like a little bit of shine is going to make the character feel more alive. So I'm going to apply some Psycho paint, transparent, with a tiny bit of Novox to bring down the matte to kind of give a little shine to the nose. It's interesting thinking about a sickly, starving dog. Would his nose be running, feverishly looking for something to eat? Or would it be dry and crusty? I think the dry and crusty is more like ill, whereas runny is like trying to survive. I mean, that's just my interpretation. I haven't researched it, but also just crows are going nuts. The runny nose would just look better on camera and make the creature feel like it's living. Okay, so nothing wrong with an ambience of crows. Whenever I can get outside and work, I do it. Got this basic scale to help me mix up my Psycho paint. Tear that weight. Got my part A, or part B. I don't think it matters, but psychologically it feels better to start with part A. Mix those two together. Okay. Always make sure to clean your hands. You never know what kind of gunk you got on it. Okay. Time for a little Novox. Definitely need a respirator when working with it. I'm going to do it even though I'm outside. Oh. I'm having technical snafu after technical snafu. First of all, my camera wasn't... This is what happens when you're rushing and just trying to, do the thing. First of all, my camera, I thought was plugged into the extension cord, but the extension cord wasn't plugged in, so camera died. Second, hard drive disconnected while recording the last clip. Anyways, just finished touching up the nose on the dog head. Mixing up Psycho paint, Novox matte, and a little slurry, and giving a little shine back to the nose. I'm going to do mud effects next on the fur, because this character has been eating mud And then I may apply a little bit of that to the nose as well to give it some texture. I'm putting the finishing touches on Doghead. Right now I just repainted his nose so that it's more glistening. I'm going to apply some mud effects to his mouth because he's been eating mud in the story. And the last thing I need to do because of one particular shot or two particular shots is his ears need to come flapping up when we're puppeting him. There's only such few shots that I need this. And also I think I like the freedom of marionetting these ears. So I'm going to figure out how to do that today with this dowel, these little bits of Velcro and some fishing wire and some crafter's pick glue. Let's do this. So I cut out these tiny little squares. I want to be able to like attach this to the puppet and then take it off the puppet. So it needs to be modular. Velcro's great. Velcro's easy, and I can probably hide it really well in the ear. There's a bit of fabric. The seam is right there, so it's like a substantial place to glue. Basically, I want to glue it down far enough that the hair will hide it. Trying to get to there I see it. I see the sort of base fabric of the faux fur coming through there. So this Velcro already has an industrial adhesion on it. But what I've been doing to reinforce it, which I've done on the back here with these pieces, is it's both the industrial glue that comes with the Velcro, and also I use the crafter's pick as another layer. And it seems to really make it strong. Oh, I can barely get those pins out. I glued this maybe 2 days ago. Yeah, that's fused now. That's great. I attached these pieces of Velcro, reinforced this with Velcro because it's I'm trying this thing where I Velcro the whole half of the dog head to a green screen wall in which I can then manipulate its facial features and do passes of facial animation that I can composite onto the main acting dog. Similar to animatronics, trying to get at a process through compositing that makes the puppet look like an, I don't know, half hand puppeted through organic motion, but has the diversity of expression like animatronics. I mean, we'll see if it works. Also with a little digital warping and After Effects too. All this Velcro has to be able to hold up the weight of the dog head, which is actually pretty heavy because of the silicone mouth and silicone tongue. Doing these BTS videos has been harder and harder because I'm ramping into production in my mind. I just don't want to take the camera out until I'm rolling for production, but getting back into it a little bit. Nice thin layer. Put that right there. And pin it. Into your finger, right through. Stab yourself while you're at it. Feel the pain of puppetry. Nice. That's one. Okay, those are pinned. Lovely. So at its maximum length, the dowel above should be the full span of the ears. There's one last thing I forgot to do, which was to apply the mud the dog head has eaten, the rotten mud the dog head has eaten in the story. And I did all my tests, and the best one was about 3 parts pomade, Activa clay, closest to the color that I'm looking for, real earth to kind of darken it. Looks like that. Add some more earth, darken it up. All water soluble. So if I'm delicate later, I can slowly wash it all out.
Hey there. Hey there. Let me tell you a secret. I like apple pie. Apple pie. And cheddar cheese. And cheddar cheese. What you looking at? What you looking at? What you looking at? What you looking at? What you looking at?
Okay, so I'm about to carve out, possibly being able to get my hands right inside the body of the dog head to puppet his mouth. But before I do that, I just wanted to show this little hack that I came up with for the tongue, because as we were performing, the goddamn thing would just keep falling out over and over and over and over again. I wanted it for 2 different lengths, for it to rest inside of its mouth, but then also to be able to come outside of the mouth and flop around, and maybe even puppet it, as we tried doing with this little brass tube inserted into the back. You know what's been really exciting with silicone puppets is you can just jab them with rods wherever you want, and they pretty much self-heal. So I stuck with epoxy, I glued a little piece of Velcro there. I'll be able to insert the tongue inside the mouth, Velcroing it here instead. It makes the tongue bounce up, which is actually more desirable and more fun to look at. Another little hack that I came up with, a little marionette that I made for the ears. I originally glued them here, and then I glued them up top here instead, so that the musculature is more realistic when the ears flap. So you can see a tiny little glued in piece of Velcro there, which should attach to this little piece here. That's fishing wire, just knotted. Then you would cover that up. Let's see if it attached. It attached. Little piece of Velcro. Take the pin out from gluing it recently. Oh. Between crafter's pick and Velcro, those are some real handy tools for me. Okay, Velcro that in there. It's cool. Yeah, I like it. It's been interesting as a digital animator to be working with analog puppets. In the back of my mind, I'm always like, I can, be assured that I could roto and post-production the hell out of these shots to make them work. And the more I perform the puppets, the more I sit with them and feel them out, the less and less post and animation work I want to do, the more absolute in-camera work I desire. little update on the puppet fabrication. So I have, well, definitely sculpted out handholds, which was perilous. I sculpted too much and had to put foam back in, so I had something to press against inside. And I'm about to install a little bit more reinforcement, some extra yoga mat. This old yoga mat that's serving me so well. So when I'm inside there and I need to make the mouth bend at the front, I usually have to push to make it push in and down to make the mouth curve when I'm doing the lip sync. And I'm pushing up against foam right now. And I think a tiny bit of yoga mat for reinforcement as a controller against the actual yoga mat for the mouth plate and the bottom will give me, in my mind, equal footing in terms of manipulation. One force against another. So the hands go in there like that. I don't know if I'm going to be able to show this off. I'll do it from the side, 3/4. There's the trapdoor motion. And then there's the bend of the mouth. Milk. It's funny the words you end up saying. My dog's freaking out. This is really, making this puppet has been really reverse engineering. And now for ergonomics in terms of puppeting and keying out this green screen suit. I want to see if it's possible in that classic Jim Henson fashion to puppet it from below instead of into it. Into it, I kind of have to hold it out like this. I have to wear a green screen suit, and then the key out is not the easiest, especially when I'm trying to get this natural scruffy hair. There are ways, but it's painful. It's painful in post-production. Just try to pin it in there.
How's it going? You don't know what you're talking about. Nice shoes. Got any milk? Got any milk? Got any milk? I miss my mother. I can't sit here and die starving, listening to your silly wormhole make silly wormhole hole sound.